Faye, a 7-year-old girl, and her 9-year-old brother Harry were vacationing with their family in Sandown, the UK. It was a Tuesday afternoon around 4 o'clock in May of 1973 when Faye and Harry heard a weird wailing sound, similar to an ambulance siren. Curious, they followed the noise across the golf course towards a swampy area. The noise stopped. The children ventured onward in an attempt to find the source of the strange sound, eventually coming across a wooden footbridge. From under the bridge appeared a blue-gloved hand, and a strange figure slowly emerged. The figure fumbled with a book, dropped it in the water, then splashed about to retrieve it. The two then watched the figure enter a metallic hut with no windows. It moved along with a strange hopping motion with the knees raised high. Shocked but curious, the two siblings crept toward the metallic hut. The figure appeared once again, this time carrying a black-knobbed microphone with a white flex attached. Immediately, the wailing sound returned, and Harry did the reasonable thing and started to run away. The figure, perhaps realizing he'd frightened the boy, ceased the screeching sound and spoke into the microphone. Faye, who had at this point followed Harry from a decent distance away, heard the figure talking as if he was standing directly beside her. They heard his voice ask, as if directly in their ears, "Hello, are you still there?" The voice sounded friendly, so they nervously approached the figure. The closer they walked to the figure, the more confusing his appearance became. He was nearly 7 feet tall and had no neck, for his head appeared to be wedged straight onto his shoulders. He wore a yellow pointed hat, which interlocked with the red collar of a green tunic. A round black knob was affixed to the top of his hat, and wooden antennae were attached to either side. The face had triangular markings for eyes, a brown square of a nose, and motionless yellow lips. Strange. As they approached with hesitation, the figure pulled out a notebook and wrote in large letters, "Hello, I am all colors Sam." Faye read the confusing message out loud, and the two children continued to move closer. They realized then that his lips did not move when he spoke, which made his voice difficult to understand. Sam asked the children questions, and they asked questions in return. They asked about his ripped clothes, and Sam replied that they were the only clothes he owned. On the unnatural whiteness of his skin, the children asked if Sam was really a man, which he replied, no. They inquired further if he was a ghost, and Sam replied, "Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way." The children asked, "What are you then?" And Sam replied with a vague, "You know," without elaborating further. Sam confided that humans frightened him and that he was afraid of being attacked. He admitted that, if attacked, he would be unable to fight back. The creature invited them into his hut. Faye and Harry entered his windowless metal hut, accessed by crawling through a small flap. Upon entering, Sam removed his hat to reveal round white ears and sparse brown hair, the interior of the hut containing 2 levels. The ground floor appeared wallpapered in blue-green and covered with a pattern of dials, an electric heater, and wooden furniture. To them it looked quite simple. When discussing his diet, Sam said he ate berries that he collected during the late afternoon. The location of his scavenging wasn't disclosed. He also said that he decontaminated the water from the nearby river so that it was safe to drink. Sam then demonstrated how he ate berries, which was strange to say the least. Before eating a berry, he performed an odd conjuring trick. He placed the berry in his ear, thrust his head forward, and caused the berry to disappear and reappear at one of his odd eyes. Repeating the process, the berry traveled to his mouth. After 30 more minutes of conversation, Faye and Harry bid Sam farewell and retreated back across the golf course. They told the first man they saw that they had seen a ghost, but he didn't believe them. The children were truly convinced they had encountered either a ghost or someone dressed up in a particularly odd costume. Either way, they were very much under the impression that their experience was genuine, or so they claim. 3 weeks later, the siblings built up the courage to tell their father of their strange encounter. They expected their father to accuse them of lying, making up stories, or having an overactive imagination. Their father, however, had his own bizarre experience, one that made him take his children's story very seriously.